So we are talking about the movie Bleed, a 2016 horror movie directed by Trip Rame and starred Chelsey Crisp and Riley Smith. Now the story here, basically, we have a young couple who have bought a house in small town USA somewhere, and they're just kind of moving in. The woman is quite heavily pregnant. They have a bit of a moving in party. Her estranged brother turns up with his girlfriend, and another couple turns up as well. And there seems to be some odd locals that are kind of hanging around in the background. Her brother is interested in kind of the occult and kind of spirituality and stuff, and tells them there's this kind of legend of this kind of prison that have burnt down there, and it's going to be haunted by this serial killer. So of course they go exploring, and they seem to be haunted by what looks like the ghost of Rob Zombie. And then we kind of come to the climax, which gets very confusing, and I'll come on to that again in a minute. So that's pretty much your movie Bleed. It's pretty much a haunting movie crossed with a bit of kind of like redneck, backwoods type people, with kind of ritual sacrificing as well. So what is the movie like? I have to say, I did quite enjoy this film. I thought it kind of played pretty well with a good kind of pace. You know, I think the kind of the characters all seemed fairly interesting, if somewhat cliche, which I'll come on to again in a minute. And there were some reasonable special effects here as well. It is a lower budget film, so the effects are on the lower budget side, but I still quite like them. There's some quite good decimated corpses and stuff that you'll kind of see towards the end of the film, and some sort of ghostly effects. They're a little bit CGI, but overall I kind of quite like them. And I have to say, until we get to the end at least, the story is quite compelling. So we get to the end of this film, really the last act, and I don't really understand what's going on, if I'm completely honest with you. It kind of lost me and gets very kind of convoluted, and didn't quite understand some story threads and where they were going. And then, really, to be fair, throughout the actual film itself, I did feel there were some illogical decisions that people made, and it falls in some very cliches. Some very typical cliches. For example, the first person who dies is going to be in a very typical and cliched order of things. You'll know what I mean when you see it. Plus, you have the typical kind of cliche of finding reasons for everything to kind of split up in this kind of haunted prison, stuff like that. Dumb decisions, people jump into conclusions, things like that. So it does kind of fall into the very kind of stereotypical and cliches. Unfortunately, it doesn't kind of stray too much from the kind of the standard path. But overall, I have to say I kind of quite like this film. Regardless, I did find it quite compelling, although it did kind of leave me a little bit cold at the end, because I felt I didn't quite get the whole picture, because it kind of just rushed through the ending, and I felt it didn't really give you enough information to give you. Tell you the whole story. Also, you don't really. I mean, I can guess what's happened to some of the other people, more of the peripheral characters, but you kind of have to kind of just look around and see what's happened to some of the peripheral characters. Like I said, so it's kind of fun, but it's fairly standard because of that. It's pretty much your standard kind of TV horror fare. It's not overly gory. Like I said, there are some decent special effects in regards to disemboweled body parts towards the end of this film. But it's pretty worth a watch if you kind of like lower budget ghost stories. You know, it's certainly an entertaining watch, if not, maybe not one that you'll kind of remember or want to watch again. But you may want to check it out once. I'll give this movie a 5.5 out of 10. Have you seen it? What did you think of it? Leave me a comment, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.